The oil and gas sector is Nigeria's economic mainstay, hence the focus on the sector is understandable, especially as the various complex multi-million dollar transactions involved are fixed for resolution abroad when disputes arise.
When they know or they perceive that we are fraudulent in those sectors and they come, they will tell you that, look, I know the problems may come up, or they have had other friends who have come and they know what the horror they went through. So they will say, look, sorry, once they dispute, I will not subject myself to your legal system. Let us go to London to resolve it.
The problem is that some of the companies that go into those kind of agreements do not consider that they are actually committing what I will describe legal suicide, financial suicide, or whatever you choose to call it, because they feel beggarly in the contractual agreements they are entering into. They feel as if they are not equal partners.
In discussing any legal framework, it is useful to understand the grounds on which the structure stands. With the volatility in the oil and gas industry, as well as global concerns over the falling price of oil, experts say the need for a legal metrology, which is the science of measurement, becomes imperative, especially as the federal government is clamoring for plug-in leakages to address revenue shortfall.
It is alleged, for example, that the multinationals take away probably more than twice what they claim to produce. The question will be, how do they do it? Why do they do it? And if you ask of how they do it, who are the people that are supposed to find out what is being produced and how it is taken away? We have DPR. It was alleged, somebody was telling me that the DPR, that some of the staff of the DPR, when they go to cross-check and to ascertain what happens, they simply send them overseas, and they can go and spend 1 month in Europe enjoying themselves with all the dollar something, and they simply return and sign whatever they have given them. I'm saying it is alleged.
The major revelation here for me is that the entire federation, that is the federal government and all the state government and all the 774 local government, the amount the NNPC paid to the federation account for distribution to these 3 tiers of government came to 4.3, and NNPC trillion naira. And NNPC alone took and spent 3.5 trillion naira. Now, which means NNPC, the cost of running NNPC is even much more than the cost of running the federal government. Now, that tells you how much, talking about what is missing, what is mismanaged, what is stolen, there are huge numbers here.
Bureaucracy, coupled with the lack of a proper weights and measure department, is making the country incur an operational loss of 25 billion annually in the oil and gas sector alone. A breakdown of these losses shows that 7.5 billion is lost yearly to 10% error margin, usually occasioned by indirect losses due to measurements not controlled by legal metrology of the federal government, while 17.4 billion, equivalent of 400,000 barrels per day, is stolen owing to the absence of credible measurements in the industry in Nigeria, according to experts.
We are always daily inundated with the perceived ooze coming out of the oil and gas sector, or the stench. And this thing has been going on for many years. And it appears that there is a mafia or a cabal there that all governments must come and succumb to. And nobody has been able to tame the monster in the oil and gas sector. It's a problem. You know, why it's a problem particularly for us is that our entire economy depends on the oil and gas sector.
The oil that is stolen, where is it taken to? Don't they know what is going into their countries legally and what is not legal? Who are the people that facilitate the theft of the oil in Nigeria? It is the international community. They keep ships several kilometers in the high seas. They put hosts in up to the areas whereby they can steal the oil. And they say they are not in Nigeria's territorial waters, and therefore they can disappear. The international community stands accused in the same way, if not more than Nigeria, in ensuring and building and promoting and being even more corrupt than the Nigerian system, because somebody who receives stolen things is, to me, is worse than even the thief.
If Nigeria wants to diversify and fight corruption, experts say it is pertinent to identify the number of barrels of oil she sells in a day, as at the moment, overhead wells gathering fields are not metered, thus making activities in the upstream and the downstream sectors opaque. Without proper metrology, stakeholders are of the view that Nigeria cannot export, cannot compete, and our economy will remain in shambles.